Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game Mess. So, I got a fun and exciting video for you guys today because I get to talk about my favorite 3D Sonic game one more time, Sonic Adventure. That is because a user going by the name of Gaming Predator, the nice Predator, not the bad one, was talking on Reddit in the Flycast subreddit about patching what they would consider to be the ultimate version of Sonic Adventure. I chatted with them over on Reddit. They wanted to make it clear they have not created these patches. They just kind of went out, researched everything that was out there, those disparate things that could enhance the game, and created a master version that they couldn't find anywhere online. And I did a little searching myself, and I couldn't find any pre-built images or even directions on how to get all of these different mods into Sonic Adventure as one experience. So this is absolutely incredible and really makes it feel like the Sonic Adventure you remember from your nostalgia, not actual Dreamcast performance. Before we get too far involved though, do me a huge favor, go down below, hit like and subscribe, and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, I got a Patreon link down below as well. Now, I'm not here to say that Sonic Adventure is a 10 out of 10 game. It definitely has its jank, it definitely has its bugs, but as far as the first true 3D Sonic game when I was a kid back in the day, I absolutely fell in love with this. I imported a Dreamcast in 1999 early from Japan with money I had made mowing lawns at the country club in the summer just because I wanted to play Sonic Adventure that badly, and I still consider this maybe one of my top 25 favorite video games of all time, even if foundationally the underlying code is probably more like number 514. But all jokes aside, this new version of the game, with everything included here, just absolutely is insane. The performance is there, the visuals are there, and there's a ton of different changes. Now right off the top, you're obviously going to be noticing that this is running in 16:9, not 4:3. And there's absolutely no culling issues or no glitches because of that. And that in and of itself is absolutely a really nice look because it's a game that I think just excels in widescreen versus 4:3. Additionally, this is going to be running at 60 frames per second, not 30 frames per second, so you get twice the speed, and for a hedgehog that quote-unquote has to go fast, and I know it's got to go fast, we're just having fun here, getting extra frames in this game, just straight up 10 out of 10. But do be aware, this is meant for emulation, not for real hardware, because of course we can push Flycast harder on the Dreamcast side of things than the actual Dreamcast could ever be pushed back in the day. And as we go to the next level, this is just, again, looking so good, and there are some texture replacements going on here as well to give you higher resolution textures, and that's something that is fun that you can do on Flycast that I really haven't talked about in video form yet. So if you want a video specifically on how to do some texture replacement and make Dreamcast games get all the way up to 4K textures, leave me a comment down below because it's something I've played around with in my own spare time, but not something I've done a video on yet. You will notice every once in a while the frame rate can dip here because, again, the underlying code of Sonic Adventure is basically held together with wood screws, duct tape, and dreams, but this is just going to be, in my opinion, the best way to play the game. And if you're thinking, but Video Game Esoterica, the GameCube version exists, and that runs faster, it is true, but that has foundational changes to what Sonic Adventure is that makes it my secondary preferred way to play the game, because the Dreamcast still feels and kind of just looks like the Sonic Adventure I know, love, and remember from being a kid. And that really is the thing. Just because a game gets ported to a more powerful piece of hardware and technically could perform better, there's different models in that game and different changes that just for me personally make it feel like a secondary choice when it comes to Sonic Adventure. But you leave me a comment down below and you tell me, with all the versions of this game that are available, which one is your favorite to play? Because it's not like we are starved for Sonic Adventures out there, but honestly now with this new version combining all of those different patches, Gaming Predator made what I would consider the de facto best way to play something like Sonic Adventure. And as far as the stability of all of these different ROM hacks put together on one GDI image, I played basically halfway through this game already. I haven't had any glitches outside of what the game would have in engine because it is still a mess. I haven't had any crashes or any hardships trying to actually get through the game. I've just been sitting here having fun. I moved it over to my LG C4 65-inch OLED and it looked outstanding coming out of my PC into that TV. And the best part is, it's still just Sonic Adventure. It doesn't change up the gameplay or anything else. It's just a better looking, prettier version. Soundtrack sample 1 though, and I'll be right back. Now I know it's 50% nostalgia talking when I say this, but every single time I play Sonic Adventure, I am just in a good mood. Between the amazing cheery soundtrack, the Sega Bright Blue Skies in the background, and just seeing my favorite 16-bit generation mascot in a full 3D game, even in 2026, I just end up playing way more than I have to for captures. And I just grew up with this game and it always hits. But I totally understand Sonic Adventure is probably like a 7.5 to 8 out of 10 in any sort of modern context, but this kind of has the charm and the heart of what I wanted 3D Sonic to be. And even though some of the recent Sonic 3D games have been kind of reinventing everything as to what Sonic can do in 3D, they just don't give me that same sensation of the bright, cheery, colorful Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2. And I would love to see somebody do the exact same thing for SA2, because it is every bit as fun as Sonic Adventure, although I would say the original game is still my favorite. But stuff like the Egg Hornet in widescreen in 60 frames per second with better textures just 100% work. There's just something about this new version of the game. It makes it feel like Dreamcast could have kept up for like 3 or 4 more years. And honestly, the reality is we never got to see the full extent of what the Dreamcast hardware could do, because it ended up leaving retail store shelves so early when Sega basically just abandoned the hardware game. But there's definite games out there that between Dreamcast and PlayStation 2 just look and run better on Dreamcast, and I think that this hardware could have kept up and lived the exact same amount of time as PlayStation 2 did. Unfortunately, we just lost the hardware and developers way too early, so we'll never truly know with the most talented development teams out there what they could have gotten out of Dreamcast. Because unfortunately so many people just put off Dreamcast to wait for PlayStation 2 when that was announced. We ended up in a situation where Sega basically lost before they even got started. But somewhere out there in an alternate timeline, people are buying Dreamcast 5 and they're putting it right next to their PlayStation 5 on their TV shelves, and Sega is still in the hardware business. Unfortunately, I haven't found the doorway to that timeline yet, so if you know where it is, leave me a comment down below, because I would love to see some modern Sega hardware. All jokes aside, that's what the Dreamcast really is. It is the swan song to what Sega was as hardware developers, as well as what I feel like game developers too. But modders out there continue to make games better. Even casual users will go and just basically combine all these things together and make for everyone the quote-unquote master version of something like Sonic Adventure. And that is just outstanding, because the Dreamcast still stays alive in 2026 and has a ton of fun with it, just because fans and devs out there are thinking to themselves, we have to keep the dream alive, pun very much intended. Obviously Sega's not doing anything with hardware anymore, so we will make the games better, we will make them more fun, and we'll even make entirely new games for the hardware. So again, if you want to see some more Flycast videos on just how hard you can push Dreamcast games to make them look more like beyond what PlayStation 2, Xbox, or even GameCube could do, leave me a comment down below, because there are a few out there that I've definitely been thinking about covering. But as far as this version of Sonic Adventure is concerned, I am absolutely shocked just how stable it truly is. I would have expected changing the actual internal frame rate, changing the aspect ratio, and changing out some textures would cause some sort of issue in its playability, but so far I've hit absolutely nothing. One more soundtrack sample though, because I love the music, and I'll be right back with more. So just 10 out of 10 from start to finish on the performance, on the look, on the sound, and everything else with this new version. So I have left a link to the user who actually made this new GI down below. You can pop over to their channel, you can find a link to grab this, and definitely give them a like and a subscribe as well, and tell them Video Game Esoterica sent you. Because anytime I send you guys some places, I like you guys to subscribe to that channel, and be polite if you're in the comments as well. But honestly, Sonic Adventure is still one of my favorite games of all time, and this new build combining all of these different ROM hacks in just make it feel like the best, most fluid version of an already amazing game. But short of that, we're done. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Hey, I'll play with you some other time.